Despite increased travel restrictions, many tens of thousands of Europeans are hoping to head home for Christmas in the next few days. But it could be challenging. In Hungary, there are around 600,000 people who work abroad, as Andrea Keleti reports.
At least 600,000 Hungarian citizens are working abroad. Many of them are hoping to be able to come home for the holidays. They thought that the borders would at least be open for a few weeks for Christmas and that the government would lift the quarantine obligations, but they have been disappointed. Hungarian expats must notify authorities ahead of their return home, but that's not enough. They also need to provide 2 negative PCR tests to be able to enter the country.
My wife can go home, but I cannot.
The couple brought their tickets to Budapest in August. Zoltán has enough days of work for the journey, but definitely not enough to cover the 5 days quarantine.
Since 30% of my colleagues at our company have been already laid off, they cannot let me stay home for 5 days after my leave.
The situation isn't any easier in Germany, where a partial curfew has been imposed for the holidays. In addition, whoever enters the country can only take a test 5 days after they arrived. But that's not the only reason why this young couple living close to Nuremberg cannot see their relatives this year.
She got pregnant. We do not want to risk such a long journey.
Plus, our parents are elderly now, and we don't want to infect them.
In neighbouring Holland, measures are a little less strict. Andrea Luke started her studies in the University of Utrecht this year. She has already travelled outside the country twice and has had no difficulties entering Holland.
All I could plan in advance was a PCR test for the night of the 23rd of December. And the second test was for the 26th of December.
It is much harder for passengers to fly home if they are coming from outside Europe.
It's rather surreal to spend Christmas in 30 degrees Celsius.
Andrea Kozák is an interior designer in Bali. She believes that the constant changing of rules and flight cancellations make the trip impossible.
I was afraid that if I went home, the borders would be closed, the airlines would stop, and so I would get stuck at home.